Good morning, friends. Welcome to another coffee chat video. It's the beginning of May, so it's time to talk about how my April goals went and what my May goals are going to be. If you're new to the channel, thanks for being here. Make sure you like and subscribe so that you can stay up to date on my journey, maybe get some inspiration along the way. If you don't know me, I'm Sam. I have a vegan blog called samcookskindness.com where you can find lots of vegan, easy recipes to help you along your journey. I have been vegan for over 6 years. I've lost about 60 pounds over 6 years, basically, following a vegan, imperfect diet. Right now, I am actively trying to lose a little bit more weight or a decent amount more weight, but I'm very chill about it. I follow a oil-free, mostly whole food plant-based diet with some treats here and there because this is how I live my life. So if I want to have a beer on a Saturday, then I'm going to do that. But I'm also going to eat my vegetables. So, yeah. Anyway, if you see me glancing down, I wrote down my April goals so that I didn't forget because I had to go back and check them because I forgot some of them. But April went well. So let's get into the April review. So did I meet my goals? Goal number 1 that we talked about last month was that my running goal. So I had a 10K at the end of April, and I'm happy to say it went really well. I've been running very consistently for the last 6 months or so, and I do it more for the joy of it than anything else right now, which is very weird to say because I was never a runner. I'm still a slow runner, but I do actually enjoy it. I started it as a way to get my steps in, and it just kind of turned into like a stress relief. Like I have 2 young kids, and life can get pretty hectic sometimes. So my running time is almost like meditation time to me, and I love it, and I'm going to continue that. So my 10K went great. I did it in 1 hour and 10 minutes, and I ran the whole thing. It was a little over, I forget what the exact pace was. It was like 11:10 or 11:20 minute mile. And I was super, super happy with that. I felt good the whole time, and I signed up for another race in May already. But it's only 5 miles this time, so, only 5 miles, no big deal. Okay, so goal number 2, this is one that I kind of forgot that I made. It was that I was supposed to do like a lower body workout, Pilates or bar, because I have some knee issues. If I do too many lunges and squats, like weighted, it gets a little sore. So I was supposed to do a lower body workouts 3 times a week. And I'd like to say that I met that goal, but I think I probably did more likely around 2 times a week, just short ones. I was a little distracted with like my running schedule. So we'll count that as a half win. And we'll have to refocus on that again in May. And then goal number 3 was to see the scale go down. I didn't have like a weight loss goal. I just wanted to see the beginning month number was higher than the lower month number. So I just wanted to see that number went down, and I'm happy to say it did. It was a little bit of an emotional ride because I weigh myself every day. If you watch my last video, I'll link it somewhere. You can see what my like general goal or general like rules that I follow are. And I step on the scale every single day. I don't make a big deal of it, but it was a little frustrating to see some of the fluctuations this month, and I was getting a little bit annoyed about it, but then I decided to take a step back and to look at the big picture and not the day-to-day, which is an important thing for you to do when you're on your journey. And I realized that even though it was like fluctuating a lot, the general trend was still down. And I ended up losing almost 2.5 pounds in April, and I'm extremely happy with that. So if I can keep on that trajectory, that would be awesome. And then my last goal that I had put on there was that my yoga studio was closing, and I'm still a little upset about this, but it's a new beginning, and I'm very excited to say I did find a new yoga studio. They actually took over the one that I went to, but I found out they actually have a closer location to me. So I found a new yoga studio to go to. It is an investment. The last one I was in was very affordable because they did a donation-based system for the community, which was amazing. This one, I do have to put a decent amount more money into it. And after talking about it and thinking about it a lot, I do think I'm probably going to commit to their like year-long unlimited membership. I'm going to have to pick up some shifts at work to afford it, but I do think it'll be worth it over time because I just love yoga and it's good for me to get out of the house. I do Peloton workouts in my house. I don't have a Peloton. I just have like a crappy old like Facebook Marketplace treadmill that I use and some like hand-me-down weights and stuff. So it's not like, yeah. I do some bar workouts on there, but and yoga workouts on there, but I like being able to like leave my house because some like adult interaction away from my children sometimes is a good thing. So yeah, so I think I'm going to invest in that. I'm doing their like monthly trial, which was a cheaper one this month, just to make sure that I really like it before I commit. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. So new beginning. A couple learning experiences from April. So I have a 9,000 step goal. And usually that's obtainable for me because I run most days. I probably run 4 to 5 days a week, most, or walk. Like if I'm not running, if I'm taking an easier day, then I'm walking, and it's usually okay for me to get that step goal. On Sundays, I take a rest day where I don't monitor my steps at all, so it is what it is. But even on those days, like sometimes I still hit that 9,000 just because I'm a generally pretty active person. I don't really sit like at all, except for these videos. So what I learned about the step goal is that when I take my yoga classes, they're usually about an hour long and they're pretty active, but obviously that's not going towards my step goal. So I had a little bit of an internal struggle, like thinking about, I just like to check that box. You know, I'm like a list type of person. I like to check off my to-do list, and I wasn't hitting, or I was struggling to hit the 9,000 steps on the days where I'm doing yoga. So I've learned to like give myself a little bit of grace there. If I'm, some days it's okay and I'll go for a walk or a jog in the afternoon and I'll hit it, but some days it's just too much. And I've learned to like really listen to my body. Like if my knees are like starting to ache a little bit, I'm going to take it a little bit easier. And if I don't hit the step goals, it's okay. And then the last thing for April is that I had a couple family birthdays and we went out to eat for both of them. And I was just really proud with how I handled them. It wasn't an obsessive thing. Like a lot of times when I've gone out in the past, I've really obsessed over, oh my gosh, this is going to like ruin my whole diet. Like, you know, like obsessing over the menu, obsessing over what's like, how this is going to ruin my life. But I feel like I'm like way past that point in my life. And I think it just takes time and practice and doing it. And it was really enjoyable. Like I got to have a good time with my family. We went out for sushi. It was like all you can eat sushi, which like growing up, I killed those all you can eat sushi places. Like every single sushi roll that was available to me was in my my stomach. But like I did really well. Like I focused on they had the AAC rolls, like avocado, cucumber, asparagus rolls. Like I focused on those. They were delicious. I got thing at edamame. I think I got some miso soup. And I did have some more indulgent things too. Like I had they had this one fancy sushi roll that had like, it sounds weird. It was like fried banana and mango with avocado on top. And I had to try it because it was like a $15 roll and it was all you can eat. So I was like, I gotta get my money's worth, you know? So I tried that and it was pretty decent. And I had like a couple bites of like tempura veggies. I did not enjoy those. Like the first bite of the tempura veggies, my face just felt instantly greasy and oily. And that was just not enjoyable to me. So I learned that next time I'm just going to skip anything tempura basically and just stick with the veggie rolls that I like. Yeah, and then the other birthday meal we went out to was ramen, and they have a veggie ramen. Did have some oil, like you could see there was some oil in it, but it was just like a vegetable ramen soup. It was supposed to be topped with like this black garlic oil. I just asked for it to be left out. And they did leave that out, but I think the broth was probably, or the veggies were probably cooked with a little bit of oil. But again, it's not a big deal. Like I ate my vegetables, like it was a normal day. I ate my vegetables beforehand. I ate the soup, and then I moved on with my life, and it was great. We had a fun time. So that is April. So I count April as a pretty good win. And then let's get into May goals. Let me take a breather real quick. Okay, let's see what I wrote down. My video stopped recording, so that's great. Now we got to do this again. Anyway, so May goals. Let me just make sure it's recording. I'm nervous. All right, let's talk about May goals. So I separated this into 3 different sections: strength, food, and weight goals. So the first section is strength. So I have a 9,000 a day step goal. It's just what works for me. If you don't have a step goal, maybe it's better to start with a lower one. Like 5,000 is usually a good goal, but for May, my goal is going to be 9,000 steps. I think I was saying that I learned to give myself a little bit of grace in April. So days where I'm doing yoga or bar, I'm not going to obsess over hitting that number, but it is my general goal. And then I have a 5-mile run that I signed up for, and that's in a couple weeks. So I'm just going to maintain my running schedule. I'm going to do what feels good. Usually like a 2 to 4 mile run is where I feel good at, depending on how hard I want to push myself that day. Sometimes I do like intervals. Sometimes I do just slow jogs, whatever feels good. So yeah, so I'm going to maintain my running schedule. I'm going to try to get 9,000 steps a day. I'm going to do, I told you I signed up for that new yoga studio. So while I have an unlimited amount of classes, I'm going to be going at least 2 times a week just to try out a variety of their different classes. They have some power yoga. They have like a warm yoga, vinyasa, which is my favorite, and like bar classes. So I'm going to get into a big variety of those and see what I like and what works for me. And then I'm going to be doing little strength workouts, probably 3 days a week along with my running, just to keep my strength up. I would like to work on like habit building. So little steps at a time. So I've been doing like 10 to 20 minute, sometimes even 5-minute on like days that I'm busy workouts, just through Peloton. I do like upper body, core, kind of a combination of everything, not a lot of weighted lower body, because I do have some knee problems. So I've been incorporating like bar, like I've been saying, for the lower body along with running. So I'm going to continue those at least 3 days a week. Those are my strength goals. Food goals, not a lot of changes, but I do have general rules that I follow. I talked about those in my last video, so I'll link that here so you can go see a little bit more details about my like general food rules that I follow. Rules, loosely use that term. But for this month, I'm going to continue tracking. So I just take pictures of my food. I have a coach that does watch to make sure that things are how they should be. But I do need to take those pictures because I find that if I stop, that's when I start to feel like, oh, well, I can have a little taste of this here, and I can have Oreo there, and it adds up over time. So taking those pictures keeps me on track. I also have a 2-pound non-starchy vegetable goal. That may sound like a lot if you're new to this kind of eating. Start with a pound, start with half a pound, whatever you can build up to. This has been how I've been eating over a long time. So I'm used to eating a lot of volume of non-starchy veggies, and I like my meals to be a lot of food. And then the one thing I am going to play around with is incorporating some squashes, like butternut or kabocha squashes. They fall somewhere between non-starchy veggies and starches, like calorie wise. They're like right in the middle. So I'm going to only reduce my starch when I'm including those just a tiny bit, not a lot, because I like to be full. I like to be satisfied. I don't like to be hungry. But it is a way to reduce the calorie density of your meals by swapping out some of those starches with a little bit less calorie starch too. So we're going to be playing around with that a little bit this month. And then as far as my weight goes, my normal goal, I don't have a number in mind. I just want to see the end number lower than the start of the month number. And as long as that's trending downwards, I'm happy, because little steps make a big difference, as we've learned, like taking a step back and looking over time. Yeah, so as long as that scale goes down, I count that as a win. And I'll post some pictures in this video, like not before and after, but like just so you can see like the difference. I don't always notice, and we don't always notice the difference day to day in ourselves. But if we take a step back and like look at our trends, look at old pictures, as long as you're consistent and you're sticking with it, you'll see changes. And that's something that takes some time to accept, because sometimes it's easier to just give up. And you mess up one time and you spiral into a huge binge that lasts all weekend long, or the only way you fail is if you give up. So consistency over time may be boring, but it's the boring little steps that matter and that make a difference. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'd love to talk to you in the comments. Let me know what you're doing this month, what your goals are, strength goals, food goals, weight goals. If you have any questions, yeah, let's chat. Like this video, subscribe to my channel so that you can stay up to date and see where I am like 6 months from now, a year from now. I'd like to see where you are too. So yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.